Yeah, welcome back to Sunday Supplement. We've been focusing on the Ashes thus far, but let's look at yesterday's football and an extraordinary game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Highlighted in the Sunday Express, Hugo Boss, Ekitike grabs winner for Liverpool, but Isak blow is a pain for Arne Slot. I want to refer to something that Jonathan Northcroft has written, Dom, in his piece in the Sunday Times as well. Football is a fickle game, and Alexander Isak had maybe a nanosecond to enjoy being Liverpool's hero, and Liverpool's recruitment hierarchy had the same amount of time to congratulate themselves before swallowing hard. A serious show of talent and serious injury, one micro moment after another. Effectively summed it up what's happened to Isak so far at Liverpool, didn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really underwhelming at times start to his career, disjointed, unsatisfactory, and then there's that moment there yesterday where you think to yourself, yeah, this is what it's all about, and then I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but it doesn't look good. There's no update I could give this morning. They were still assessing him. I think there will be more scans today, and for the swelling to go down. But it was a huge blow. It was a huge blow because that was that little microcosm of play that worked into Isak. That was the £241 million reason that the two of them have been teamed up together.
Julian, you will have watched the game as well. Listen, Liverpool have gone on a 6-game unbeaten run now, but after that victory yesterday, does it feel like the corner's turned? Some are saying the manner of the win, perhaps not.
Well, no, I think we've seen some improvement in the last 6 games, the 4 wins and the 2 draws, without Salah, who was either dropped and on the bench or not there at all, as the Inter Milan game, for example, in the Champions League. It's not perfect, as we saw, even with 11 men against 10 and then against 9, towards the end, they lose a bit of control, it's a bit chaotic. And when you go at them physically, at times they probably struggle a little bit. They would like more control, certainly on the ball. But I think the Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, McAllister and Wirtz seems to be working. Ekitike is obviously very good, the best signing that they've made so far this summer. And yes, defensively, you still need a bit more, I think, from them, from Kirkers, from Konate, probably from whoever's at right back, Bradley, Frimpong, somebody else. But I think for all the problems that they had and all the solutions that Arne Slot had to find, they're on the right way, which is not the case for a lot of other teams in the Premier League who've had a lot of problems and are nowhere near finding solutions for them.
The back page of the Mail on Sunday, Martin, says Spurs see Reds. There were 2 red cards that kind of enabled Liverpool to see home that win. Jonathan Northcroft in the Sunday Times again says Liverpool are back on the edge of the top 4, but their nervousness and disorganisation when they should have been seeing the game out suggested their wobble is not entirely over. Dare we speculate that they could mount some sort of outside challenge for the title, or is that too fanciful? They've got Wolves and Leeds United at home in the next 2 games.
They're not. No one's out of it. You know, no one is that close and out of it in December at the same time. So yeah, there is the potential for a fight back without a doubt, and they are getting better. They did look strangely nervous, strangely chaotic when Richarlison came on, and threw everything up in the air, and suddenly there was this super aggressive force up front for Tottenham, super aggressive as a wind-up merchant as well, and it seemed to rattle Liverpool, and that was quite strange because they were in charge. Tottenham were down to 10 men. It was a lousy first half. Second half was better. But Tottenham were down to 10 men. Then they went down to 9 men. Neither one they can have too many complaints about, I don't think. And yet somehow it got quite nervy for Liverpool towards the end. Once Richarlison had scored, Van Dijk missed his kick and all of these things. So the only thing you'd say with them is that if this was Slot's first season, we'd all be looking at this and going, yeah, well, of course, he's coming after Klopp. It's, you know, he's got these adjustments to make and everything like that. We'd all be very, very philosophical about this. The problem he's got to some extent is that his first season was so exceptional. It was so unexpected that someone would come in on Klopp's coattails and win the league, as a front runner, as confidently as they did, that this season, anything less than that is a drop off, particularly with the money they spent. So, the Diogo Jota, we re-rehearse the same arguments all the time. None of this has gone away. So there is still this degree of fragility, but yeah, they're still in it. Of course, they're still in it.
Why is there that nervousness? Why is there that fragility? Because it's not like they're lacking in leaders in that team, is there?
No, there isn't. But it's like human nature, in terms of when something happens once and then it happens again, and then it's in the back of your mind all the time. The three things that or the three games in this sequence that started it all off: Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and Manchester United. They should have all been drawn games. If Liverpool had put the foot on the ball in the last 5-10 minutes of that game, seen them out, take the point, that wouldn't have been a bad situation. But they've then had those defeats, which have created a spotlight. It's then spiralled out of control. There's been all the other issues around the place that we've talked about, that they aren't going away. And something else that's also been forgotten about in terms of all this, in terms of what the managers had to deal with. The sentencing this week of the Paul Doyle, who at the trophy parade, that's been there in the background as well. That's almost like being forgotten about. There's been a huge amount of things the manager has had to deal with that hasn't been football this year. Something completely remarkable. So there's been this hurricane of things sweeping around the place, and then the form was awful. Someone said to me at the beginning of the season they foresaw a point where results were going to dip. Now they thought maybe 4 or 5 matches it would be iffy, and then they would get themselves through it. But it went for 12 matches. And we now live in a society where there's no patience, there's no understanding. There's a generation of fans that are just thinking, oh, well, we've bought him, so we're going to win it by 20 points. It doesn't work like that. This is the most ferocious league in the world. It doesn't work like that. You've got to earn the right to win matches. And I thought yesterday it was a good result. It wasn't a great performance, but it was a very, very important win in terms of taking them a little bit closer to where they want to be.
You were going to come in there, Julian.
Yeah, just on ekitike, because I think he sums it up quite well, in the sense that he came in first before Isak, then he saw Isak coming. We talked about that on previous shows before. I thought he's been outstanding. He made his debut for France, and yesterday in a game where again he's the one picked to start, with Isak on the bench first, and Isak obviously came on, scored, got injured, etc. But he's there, he scores again. I just think he's been outstanding, considering all that context around him, arriving from the Bundesliga, and we've seen many players arriving, big stars.